I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with Kim Mulkey and say that the rich get richer. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hoop Scoop. Please like and subscribe on your way in. With the basketball portal closing today, May 1st, and the football portal closing yesterday, April 30th, we have a lot to discuss. How does the portal work? NCAA adopted a package stating that undergraduate student athletes can transfer to a new school during the transfer window for their particular sport, and that they will be eligible to play immediately if they meet academic requirements. Also, that graduate students can enter the portal at any time. And there are special concessions for athletes whose coach leaves the program. Those athletes have a 30-day window after the coach departs to choose a new school, again, if they are academically eligible. Something important to remember, an athlete only has to be in the portal before the window closes. They can still choose a new school after the portal close date if they are still in the portal. If they've already chosen a school when the portal closes, that's where they will stay until the next portal window opens for their particular sport. Now, why do you think there are so many student athletes that went into the portal this year? I'll tell you what we think. As we've been researching athletes' movement and reporting it to you right here, we've also looked at interviews and social media of those players to get an idea of why they chose to go into the portal in the first place. And there are three trends: NIL, development to go pro, and coach realignment. On this piece, we're going to only focus on the NIL, and the other parts will be on a separate video. NIL, name, image, likeness, in our opinion, is the biggest reason that student athletes are entering the transfer portal, especially in the sports where they have to stay for 3 years, like women's basketball and football. NIL is the ability for students to benefit off of their name, image, and likeness through endorsements, brands, and social media, which they were not allowed to do before. How does this shake things up? First, schools in states with favorable NIL laws are going to be more desired, such as New Mexico, Missouri, Maryland, and Oregon. Also, while colleges can still not pay their players, they can get paid through what's called collectives, which facilitates endorsement deals for students, which include local business and donors, in addition to any brand deals that the student may get. And you could imagine this is going to be most beneficial to those schools who have donors that are willing to go into those $1 million piggy banks to pay those players. Is this harming the sport? Supreme Court ruling in 2021 that states NCAA rules restricting benefits to athletes was unconstitutional. Therefore, opening the gates for student athletes to get paid and get paid a lot. Who will this harm the most, if anyone? In a Sports Illustrated article, it was asked of Nick Saban. Sports Illustrated. The NIL scene is evolving quickly. Collectives are popping up everywhere, distributing millions to athletes. What are your thoughts on this situation? Nick Saban. The issue is when you create these collectives for people, are you establishing a pay-for-play type of environment that can be used in recruiting? So now, all of a sudden, guys are not going to school where they can create the most value for their future. Guys are going to school where they can make the most money. I don't think that is even the best thing for players. Let's also look at what the Washington State head football coach had to say about NIL and how it's impacting their school.
Challenges, Colton, to what this portal and this NLI provides. Okay, there's more tampering going on than you could ever imagine. Okay, we've had guys contact our players' parents. We had a coach from another school contact one of our players and offer him NIL, a coach. Okay, so there's more things going on behind the scenes that you can't even imagine. You can't even imagine the things that are happening right now to try to pry our players away from this place. Okay, and it's stunning, it's amazing, it's the new thing that, I guess comes with this portal transformation, but it's not right. And who's going to regulate it? Who's regulating this stuff? So there's challenges that we're facing that obviously are extremely disappointing with what other teams and other programs and the collectives maybe act, on their own behalf. But to try to get to our players' parents and offering money and opportunities and stuff it's unacceptable to me.
And we all know Jean Ariama of the UConn's women basketball team. Let's see what he had to say.
The average coach out there, though, who's not where I am, you can't do your job anymore. And people can say you got to change with the times. How does changing with the times help you have better relationships with your players when it's all transactional now? So what kind of relationship can you have with somebody that is telling you, I might be here 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4, or I might be at 4 schools in 4 years? And it has nothing to do with the money. Forget the money part. This is about the ability that you can just walk out anytime you want. So how do you coach in an environment where the players feel like they owe you nothing and you owe them everything? What kind of relationship can you have? That's the reason why most of us got into this job. We enjoyed the relationship that we would build with our players for 4 years, you know? So it's a whole different world that coaches have had to adapt to, but it's not sustainable, obviously. It's unfortunate because at a school like St. John's, maybe in women's basketball, or some of the teams in our league, you know, you got a player that's really, 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 really good that you coached the hell out of and you just made them like who they are, like happened to Seton Hall last year. And that kid goes, yeah, well, I think I can make more money somewhere else. Okay? Well, you wouldn't have been this good if it wasn't for your coaching staff that you have right now. So again, it becomes just a transaction. And I don't think any coach that got into it that's around anywhere and around my age completely buys into all that.
Now let's move on to Deion Sanders. First, I'm going to play a clip when Deion was at Jackson State and one at Colorado. Take a listen.
Let me explain. See, with the NILs, which really ain't NIL because ain't no name, image, and likeness, it's just pay-per-view right now. That's what they doing to the big boys. Little boys, we can't compete with that. But anyway, you got a problem. See, when you start paying athletes like they're professionals, you get athletes acting like they're professionals. And you don't have staffs large enough and equipped enough to handle a young man with money. Let me go deeper. Handle a young man that's making more money than some of the coaches on staff. You got a real problem. So I suggest to you to allow college teams to hire more qualified men, that could handle these young men that's getting this money.
Okay, that was Jackson State.
The general
now let's
concept
move on to
is
Colorado.
coaches are flocking out of college to try and get to the NFL because there's more rules around what you can do and pay kids and whatnot or anything like that.
Well, that's not the reason. The reason they're flocking because the sanctity of the game. They want the game to stay pure and wholesome when all the kids are getting paid, and many don't think that those kids love it because they're getting compensated to do what you should want to do for free. But I absolutely love it. I think the kids should be compensated.
Sure.
I think we got to put some guidelines and some rules in it.
Now, that's what I'm saying, is that in the NFL, there's guidelines and rules, whereas in college,
you're going to have to. You're going to have to do something because it's getting crazy. And you're right, some of the big dogs, the greatest of all time, Coach Saban, walked away from it. And I love him to life. He's the best one has ever done it. I know that, and I'm going to say that. I don't think anyone would ever eclipse what he's accomplished in college football. And I don't think the system even allows you to be able to accomplish that anymore. But that was tough to see and understand and know him personally and see him walk away from the game.
Yeah, BC's HC became the Green Bay DC. You're hearing Chip Kelly's interviewing for offensive coordinator.
I love Chip Kelly, man.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
Love Chip Kelly.
But that's the point, is that I'm seeing, and so I'm wondering what you think about it.
First of all, I'm a father of 5, so I understand kids, and I understand the nuances of today's kids. A lot of coaches are disconnected from today's kids. They just coach, and they're not involved in really learning and understanding these kids. I love my team. I love these young men. Several of them are coming here this weekend, including my 2 sons. I think they're going to 3 sons. Bucky's here, going to the NFL honors with me tonight. So, and they were calling me earlier, should I wear this? Should I wear this? I said, come on, man, you're Sanders. Kill the game. Just kill the game. So I understand these kids and I understand what they want and need and desire and what they need to continue, but also being able to influx them with the wisdom and understanding of life as well.
But you gotta have rules.
You
right?
gotta have
rules because I think some kids are being promised stuff that they're not going to get.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
that's true.
That's part of it too.
That's true.
No problem.
But
with
also,
kids
it's some
getting paid.
out there getting these enormous numbers that they didn't earn. We just want you to earn it. I don't mind giving it to you, but I want you to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I truly want you to earn it and have the desire to understand that that's just going to hold you. NFL is going to sustain you. But don't look at that as the sustainment. Look at that as just something that's going to hold you and put a comma in the sentence. But you got to work your butt off to get to the next level. We can't divert from getting to the next level, having that desire to get to the next level. What made me who I am today is that hunger and that thirst and that focus and want to retire my mama. I mean, because I didn't have it like that in college until I started picking up a baseball bat. But I don't want those kids to lose that passion for the game. And that's what a lot of people are scared of.
Yeah, you noticed it too. There was a little change in his tone. Maybe it's because his kids are benefiting. I don't know. I'm just asking the question. What do you think? Okay, now we're going to move on to Kim Mulkey. Kim Mulkey of the LSU Tigers stated, "What is different than when I was at Baylor or Louisiana Tech, LSU is just a bigger deal. It's a bigger brand. The NIL, it's no secret. It's being discussed with Congress now. In a lot of ways, the rich get richer. I don't know what's going to happen there. I want them to do whatever they can to sell their brand. I want LSU to do everything within NCAA regulations for us to put our brand out there for every student athlete. It's off the charts right now at LSU, and I mean this in all sports." Now, in an article from Sports Illustrated, they went over some of the pros and the cons. For the pros, they stated, it was initially thought that NIL would sway heavily to men's sports, but a Sports Illustrated article states some of the pros. One, being a wide swath of athletes are making money, and not just in high revenue sports. Two, women's college athletes are benefiting, not being left behind. We definitely agree with the pros list. I mean, we've seen with our own eyes how women's basketball has taken off over the last few years. The women are a lot more active on social media, giving fans an opportunity to see them outside of their college uniform. And that's being received positively, which is a great thing for women's sports. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Haley Van Lith, Juju Watkins, Paige Buchers have all made a small fortune, I mean a large fortune, off of NIL deals, which is extremely helpful considering the pay they get in the WNBA for the first couple of years. The cons, as we see it, is that it's going to leave smaller schools and those that are not being televised of the equation. It's looking like for women's basketball, those smaller schools or those that are not being televised are having to go about recruiting the old school way and going out and looking at those high school students that are coming in. But my question is, once those high school students are in and developed, are they going to be able to keep those students? Are those students going to move on as they see those dollar signs? It truly seems like NIL was created with the best intentions for the student athletes, but like with all things, money gets in the way. I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with Kim Mulkey and say that the rich get richer. Let us know your thoughts. Is the NIL a double-edged sword? Can it be two things at one time, good and bad? Are the coaches just salty, or are they making good points as it relates to these athletes and their education? We really look forward to hearing your thoughts on the matter. Please leave a comment below and we will get back with you. And thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one.